Each year, I learn a little something and I go, okay, you know what? Not going to do that next year. Well, welcome back, everyone. It's been a little while. I wanted to do something a little different with this video. I haven't done anything like this in a while, which is just point, shoot, and just say hello, because it's been about 4 or 5 days since I was on here last, tax season and all of that stuff, and there was stuff. Sometimes you're given a gift to be interrupted, and then you see how important creativity is. That strange feeling we feel after we've done our taxes, I think that we overlook it. It kind of gets lost under the rubble of all the other emotions we feel during tax season. Dread, loss, failure, triumph. Who knows? It's different for everyone. But I feel like there are other feelings too. So, in the spirit of getting back into it and expressing what's in the moment, maybe you'll relate to this too. Share my experiences doing taxes this year, or honestly, any year, because it pretty much tends to feel the way that I'm about to describe it. Anyway, hope you enjoy. I'm still haunted by all of it, and I thought this is the best time to share. Well, we're going to do something a little different today. The last time I was on here was episode 60, and I was doing my first YouTube Live. The reason for my little hiatus was it was tax season, and I just pretty much got it all finished. It's a great feeling, but there's nothing quite like that feeling right after the taxes are fresh in your mind, and you've done all that work and looked over everything and kind of had this enforced retrospective of the year of your life and the decisions you made in it, particularly with money. There's something very profound and powerful, and like everybody, I kind of dread doing them. It's kind of a hassle, and kind of having to go back. And one thing I always find is I need to get a little better keeping my records so that it's just easy next time. As it stands, I wind up searching through emails and files and maybe some papers, but this is, it's like a different piece of art when it's done, That's just one page. I mean, it was like maybe three or four pages, actually. Yeah. And there's something very satisfying once I look at all the numbers that I did, and I waded through it, and it's a little piece of accomplishment. And I remember my dad always used to say, it blew my mind once, because I remember he just hated doing that, and he was notorious at doing the extensions, and, guilty. But I remember him saying he always loved it because it was very spiritual for him. There is something profound about you get to a certain point in the year or the new year, and you look back and you remember things that you have no business thinking are important enough to remember anymore. And because it's money, you sometimes have to go a little more into the nuance. And there's this feeling, especially when you begin looking back, like if I go to those April bank statements of last year, and I see, or I would say if I go, to January, and I'm in April now, so there's been, 3 months there, and you can just make out the same patterns being repeated. It's always like, man, I promised that it wasn't going to be quite the same, but I think we all get locked into those same habits, those same traps. Once the holidays come along, we start spending the money and getting gifts, and then there's amazing stuff that you get for yourself or something, guilty. And then you get for more friends, and you're just spending, and then January comes along, and we're just, damn, how did I get here? How did that happen again, It's like you're a fish in a glass bowl, but you're also the human looking into it. And it's kind of this feeling of, here I go again. I think I'm about to repeat all these patterns. Another thing I wanted to point out is, since I started doing all these vlogs, 60 episodes in just over 2 months, it was intense. But it was an art vlog, so there'd be some times where I'm vlogging about creating something, a piece of art or a story, or I give you a story for the vlog episode. So there's a lot of ancillary creative endeavors that come just from this vlog alone, which, if I was to tell any artist out there why you should make a vlog, that's it. Make sure the vlog is also about you creating, and it'll just keep making you create even on days you don't want to, and then you're just going to come up with some of the darndest things. So that alone is worth it. So late last week, after my YouTube Live, which by the way, I am excited to get another one going, and I plan to do it this I guess it would be Thursday, tomorrow, assuming this happens Wednesday, whatever. But after that, I kind of needed to just go, okay, you're either doing the taxes now or you're just going to leave them to October. So I decided I would just, put all my resources into that, which I did. But that was a good 4 or 5 days. I was busy with other stuff, swamped, where I couldn't vlog all of a sudden. And I really felt it after, 60 straight episodes, where you're doing the editing. In some cases, there's stories, so I'm writing the whole story, and I'm syncing it to time lapses and art. It was an intense amount of work. Again, it's like you're moving to Nebraska every single day. And the walls were just closing in. I wasn't doing anything as stressful as making a YouTube video every day, but I felt empty. I didn't feel fulfilled. Sometimes, it's easy for me to look at my life and go, wait, are you living? Are you living? Well, by other people's definition, maybe I'm spending too much time in the art or something, But I've done so much stuff. That's a whole nother video, the life I've led already. And one thing I found is, I didn't have enough time to do writing or art in there, and God damn it, I want to do it now. And this is a great time. So that's what I set out to do. I guess the point is, when I'm not doing it, it's easy to fall into self-doubt. That's the trap. But there's also, maybe I like to think, a trap that I set for myself, which is, you better do this now, because anytime you stop, you're going to feel really depressed. So there's no choice but just to go forward. I like to think that's what I'm doing. Gee, I'm smart. But I felt like the walls were closing in, and the self-doubt was really reaching its long black fingers and wrapping around me, and I just felt like I was choking. I felt like I was about to explode and have a meltdown, and I really had to do a little mental work and talk to myself a little and say, wait a minute, you haven't been able to vlog, you haven't been able to write, you haven't been able to paint or draw, you haven't been able to edit a video, nothing creative all of a sudden for 5 straight days or 4 straight days, whatever it was. And I felt every second of that. I felt deprived. I felt like nothing was right with the world. And it was kind of another nice realization I had post these taxes, or right in the middle of these, how important the creativity really is. I think I've been fortunate to put myself in a certain amount of, or a crazy amount of situations where I'm just constantly creating things. Every now and then, it's very beneficial to, despite being surrounded by that or having opportunities to create, to just suddenly pull the rug out and remind yourself what it's like to not have that. I just want to impart to you that when you get creative, if you're not right now, if you're not creating right now, when you go and do that, things happen to you. You can either procrastinate, you can either run away from it, or you can keep going. And in some ways it gets easier, in some ways it gets next level. As you keep doing it, you start to take it for granted. That's part of life, and that is kind of how you get better. Certain things should be effortless. You should be able to ignore and not spend time, being totally humble like it's the first day again. I think there's a point where the bird shouldn't always be thinking, oh my God, I'm flying. There's a point where the bird has to just lean into it so they can do things like hunt, prey, and dive bomb, and come up with it and not be thinking about all these big things like a beginner thinks about. They gotta think like a pro and be focused, and that's so important. But sometimes you're given a gift to be interrupted, and then you see how important creativity is. And you see, in this case, how important looking back is. Reminiscing, being reminded of who you were and his shortcomings. And nothing brings that out quite like looking through your taxes. Some decisions are triumphant, but man, some you're like, man, how old am I? And I made this mistake. I think I made that mistake last year and the year before. But I find it all to be incredible value and exciting, because I will also say that each year I learn a little something and I go, okay, you know what? Not going to do that next year. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen, but many times there will be this satisfying feeling of catching that thing before it happens. Maybe getting to that one little shop and getting too much ice cream, or maybe splurging too much on this company come Christmas time or something, and you're able to just kind of psychically be in tune with yourself. Sometimes you can predict the future if you know that if you catch yourself in a habit too often doing the same thing, you kind of know how that's going to play out. I also was very proud of the year. Hopefully, as all the math works out, I'm still proud of the year, but I made out much better than I did, and I think that is a testament to learning a system. I used to be such a rebel against it, but the more I apply myself to it, the more I see what a beautiful system it is. And that's exciting. That's inspiring, that there is maybe a rhyme or reason to this crazy world out there, not to mention the streaming world out there. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here. It was very quick, but it's been way too long, and I needed to just say hi. This was just going to be a different type of video. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you got a little bit of value, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you have some interesting takes on when you are doing taxes, or maybe you just flat out hate them and you just want to say that. Just always curious. I think that taxes are a spiritual experience, and that in itself is kind of beautiful. Find the beauty. Anyway, you can check out the description for more of the Ghost in the Gaslight experience. There's a bunch of fun stuff, fun places you can visit, whether it's my Substack or my website, what have you. And I would love to see you there as well, but I'd absolutely appreciate a subscribe, and I would look forward to hearing your thoughts. Be sure to hit that like button. Take care, you beautiful haunted romantics. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe you'll enjoy this one.